is just fantastic.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. I do apologise, we are rushing today a little bit. I was a bit late getting back from the Royal Albert Hall last night. It was a great live show, by the way. Thank you for asking. Today we're going to be phoning it in a little, and I'm going to be honest, yes, that's what I'm doing. I'm sorry. There was a topic lined up, but I'll do it tomorrow instead. We're instead going to look at, and it's really well timed, at Amber's quitting again. I don't know how to explain just how many dislikes are you willing to keep getting and negative comments before you finally do something right by yourself. Now, in this instance, I went and took the liberty of looking at the likes dislike. You have 365 up to 2.7k down. Top comment if you ignore mine, because mine is the most important, of course. How many times have you quit weighing in and calorie counting? Now, the correct answer to this is yes. Are you not tired of having the same realizations over and over for the past 10 plus years? That's the thing. Some TV series go on forever by just doing the same thing over and over again. I've been watching her for years. I even left her a while and came back. Her smugness is unbearable at this point. She talks to us like we're the ones who are 500 pounds and not her. I don't know if I could survive being 500 pounds. So I'm actually impressed at her will to live, considering her body's obvious attempts at trying to shut down. And finally, she makes up her own questions so she can continue to talk about her issues because no one else gives a F. I agree with this. I do not believe any of these questions have come from anyone. You decided to write them yourself, so you had a reason to make these placards. The cue cards even, sorry. That you used to make it seem like, oh, but the fans, everyone. Bish, you get over 1,000 comments per video minimum. How are you finding the positivity? Because I promise you, the percentage is less than 1%. It is such a small number. You have to be finding them somewhere, and don't try and tell us it's in your Instagram DMs, because we all know you paid someone on Fiverr to ask those questions to you, the 5 questions Amber answers, because what we want is a philosophical lesson from the avatar of failure, the half-ton heifer, queen of the mozzarella brick house.
Hey guys, welcome to another weigh-in video. Alright, let's get straight into the questions. How has your BE improved? So I noticed, even though I did outpatient for only a few months, I noticed that like the tools, the knowledge, and the things that I talked about in outpatient during that time started helping me. But genuinely, all the credit goes to the 9 months of therapy I did with a psychologist when I was gonna get weight loss surgery. I was only supposed to see that psychologist for 3 months, but I kept going.
Well, isn't it a shame then you never committed to it? Because if something did work and you quit on it, it tells us everything about the real person that you are. Although we all know who you really are. You are the formerly bedbound half-ton heifer who backed that rather shelf-flat ass up into a sink to violate washcloths. And the only reason you kept going, allegedly, is because you're a tryhard. Although it may have been that, and it's unlikely, that they got through to you and you finally started to understand. But don't forget here, you did reject one person when they suggested you consistently lose weight for an entire year. And here we are years later because you didn't think you had the time for it, and you could be in a, much better place. You'd have better mobility at the very least. Hell, you might be able to actually reach parts of your body you haven't been able to touch in years without having to sit down to feel anything down there.
Because it genuinely was like changing my life, and it still has. Like, that's a psychologist that diagnosed me with BPD. Now I'm aware, and that's like the first thing that you need to do when you're a borderline, is you need to have that awareness, because without the awareness, you're like, what's the problem? There's nothing wrong with me. You can have tiny little moments of like, okay, something seems off, what's wrong with me? But I don't really know what. It's the awareness that really helps.
You mention awareness somewhat ironically, since you completely lack it now. Whereas Christian resides firmly within the universe of C197, yes, dimensional merge is imminent, folks, Amber resides within the one simply titled PIG-520. The universe number does fluctuate on the weight.
That psychologist genuinely like changed my life.
The part playing where you have no audio is Amber saying that she doesn't have binge eating anymore, and that therapist really did help her. Anyone want to call BS on that? Because there's no version of this where she's not binging on a regular.
Do you ever do the lymphatic massages for your illnesses? So by illnesses, I'm pretty sure they mean my lipedema and lymphedema. And I do, but it is hard to do on your own self. So I do the best I can, but it's not something that I do like religiously because like I said, it is very hard to do like by myself.
Here's an idea for you, genius. Since you're willing to consider stupid ideas like Ozempic or semaglutide again, which means you have disposable income, why don't you go see a massage therapist? Go see specialists who can help you. Why not spend money on things that actually benefit you instead of making excuses for why you can't do something? I go to the gym with raging headaches. Do I stop? No. Do you know why? Because I know going benefits me. The headache will eventually leave. I will win via attrition. Okay? The only time I won't go, and if you're a lifter you'll get this, is if you have any digestive issues. Let's go with that. I want to stay monetized on YouTube, so I'm not going to embellish on that. But thankfully I've never encountered these issues, but I will admit, that's one of those ones where I won't go. You can do something to help yourself. Bloody well do it, instead of looking for an easy way out. You may not like the idea of someone unknown touching your body, but since you're willing to message every skank on the internet to find out who you can skank with next, I think you might want to consider just paying a professional.
Why are you not allowed to be on estrogen?
Amber basically answered this last week, by the way. This is why many of us do not believe that anyone has written these questions or asked them of her. We firmly believe she writes them for herself, from herself, because no one's asking her a question she wants to answer, like, for example, and it's in my comment 3 times, where the Fraggle Rock is Rarity?
Does your mom grocery shop with you? Sometimes. I would say 9 times out of 10 she does.
Literally, no one cares. The questions that matter are typically the questions you don't answer, because they're the ones that hold you accountable and you don't know how to articulate a counterpoint without gaslighting the person sending you the message. This is how we know, additionally, you are rigging these questions. An excuse for you to sit here and do AMAs, but they're the exact same AMA in the exact same spot because you lack any credible creativity. Spoken unironically from a guy using a still image on a cartoon backdrop, because he doesn't have time to put his avatar in and hasn't felt like it for months. Yet there's still more mobility in my avatar image here than there is in you in your video. More expression too.
Did you order 5 cookies from Cracker Barrel? So Cookie Gate was happening in my live stream, which I literally just ended my live stream. So that just ended and now we're here. I was so confused because people were saying I had 9 cookies and people were saying I had 12 cookies. I was genuinely lost. But I guess it turns out that people saw somewhere that the only way you can order chocolate chip cookies is if you order 5 or 10 at a time.
Do the inflections bother anyone else, or is it just me? Like, only me? We're about to see some mental gymnastics, by the way, guys. And also, I want to preface with, Amber suffers from what she dubs food anxiety. Foreshadowing, everyone.
Which before I even found that out, I was trying to explain that the only reason why I had a chocolate chip cookie was because I was trying to get these like beignets. They just looked and sounded so good at the time. But when I went to order it and then the DoorDasher went to go get it, turns out they didn't have those. And I was like, okay. So I messaged back and I was like, do they have chocolate chip cookies? I'll take one of those. And then they just gave me a chocolate chip cookie. So no, I didn't have 5 or 9 or 12 chocolate chip cookies. I just had 1.
I thought I'd let that play out just so you guys can understand just how dull that was. Firstly, beignets are amazing. If you've never had one though, don't bother just ordering it without knowing what it is, because your anxiety will kick in and then you'll pick at it. Because you're special needs. Second, where's Rarity? Thought I'd insert that just randomly. And third, no one believes you ate just 1. You are over 500 pounds, Amber. Shut up. And it's not Cookiegate. Cookiegate was the nudie crumble video that I saw you playing with one of your knockers in. I don't recommend people look at that. That was ew.
All right, let's get into the goals that I had last week. My goal was literally just to look into GLP-1s, and I have done that. So if you haven't watched any of my last videos from the last week, literally, I signed up, I did the questionnaire, I was fixing to get approved for a GLP-1, which has been very easy for me in the past. But this company asked about my gallbladder.
I see the path to cheat code is being explored again. Good to know, Amber. Of course they'd ask about your gallbladder, because if there's ever a chance where something could stop you from doing something, you'd happily make it up so you don't have to. Also, don't forget here, you're the one telling us you've done something, yeah? Prove it, Amber. Everything you say is nothing more than a baseless assertion. We have seen you and your mother in a car park outside a shopping place. We've seen that. Never seen you in there together much. Little clips here and there. Together though. Never bumping into each other together. As far as the food goes, we should hear you make your order. You want to make these claims and be some weight loss journey channel that is beyond imperfect? You're a parody at this point. Actually show people you doing it for a change. You absolute Dosser, the amount of effort it takes you to prove it, by the way, is minimal compared to you actually sitting there and conjuring up a lie out of your rooty-tooty, stinky, stank ass, no doubt covered in dingleberries, flat-shelf booty.
I told them I had gallstones over a decade ago, and they denied me. And I almost gave up, but instead I was like, you know what, I'm gonna be an advocate for myself. I genuinely believe the possible reoccurrence of a gallstone is less severe than me staying the size.
I like you speak with such a patronising tone, thinking you understand yourself better than any doctor could from simply looking at you once. Get one person, one dietitian to look at you, one psychiatrist to look at you, one vet to look at you, and they'd all say the same thing. You're beyond economic repair and you're just fighting the very thing you can't beat now. It's called time. Time is one of the world's greatest commodities. We sell it, in fact. We sell time in the form of our services. You are running out of it. You are such a condescending prick when it comes to this. You present these informations dumps, as it were, but you provide no proof. So essentially what you've done is made up some bollocks and given us nothing to support it, which means all of us can sit here and say, bitch, no, you're lying. Which is, well, just you really, isn't it? Because you need the lies. You need to lie to us to make it seem like you've got content. It generates some controversy, and then over time, you can then milk that by seeming like you're above it. Trying to lower the bar when you are already lowering it enough with your weight alone.
So that brings me into my goals for this week. My first goal is that I want to talk to my doctor and make an appointment and talk about GLP-1s and see what he thinks.
US doctors have a history, a track record, a reputation in my country for existing solely to sell pills. If anything could exist that they can hock to the gullible person who thinks GLP-1 will solve their problem, they will do it. And I have no doubt in my mind your doctor will try that, because it may well benefit them if they're on some referral sheet. How about instead of using that health teach talk thing you use, WebMD, how about you do something simpler? How about you go and buy a gym membership and actually go to the bloody gym? Like, I don't feel like I should be quoting Papa Swallow too much, but if I had some water, I'd be spitting it in a direction outside and simply saying, go to the bloody gym, you silly sausage.
I'm willing to closely monitor my gallbladder if that, will make him feel more safe about putting me on a GLP-1.
You know, there are a number of things that can help your gallbladder if it's inflamed. For example, fasting, pain medication, antibiotics, of course, surgery, gallstones, low-fat diet helps the symptoms. You'll, of course, insert the obligatory, yeah, but I have to take medication, so I need these things. You can take other, supplements for, gallbladder enzymes for a delayed release. There are herbal versions as well, none of which you'll explore because you have food anxiety and you'll just eat the whole bloody tub.
Number 2, I want to just work on my relationship with food, period. Number 3, stop the daily weigh-ins and just weigh myself once a week.
I bet Amber thought by only inserting those as 1-second bits, no one would bother to unpack them. The first one, fix your relationship with food. No chance. Never going to happen, not in a million years, because you like food. You claim you don't, but really you do. I like food, and I'm a lot smaller than you. You're a lot bigger. There's no way you don't like food. You've been at this for so long, don't try us. And as far as the weigh-ins go, not surprised you do it down to once a week. I should just say, many of us, myself included, do actually weigh ourselves daily, because it's a side quest to maintain our weight, right? Not overly difficult to do. If you know you need to lose a little weight, all you have to do is create a calorie deficit. Walking is remarkably good at this, by the way. It really is, Amber. The simplest thing you could ever do is go for a walk. If it means walking through pain, then walk through the pain. It's a testament of willpower, where your willpower is solely focused on what goes into your gob.
Alright, so now let's talk about how my week went. So last week I was feeling shitty, I was feeling defeated, I was feeling overwhelmed, I was feeling like I was drowning, I was depressed, I was low. I genuinely was not in a good place, and I feel so much better.
Okay, quick thing. We've all been watching the same videos, right? We've all seen the same videos where she's presented herself as this super happy person, right? You can tell us you're one thing, but then when you continually put on the character that you are no different, the only thing I could think of that would discernibly change you is if you got a new girlfriend. That's the only thing I know that causes instant, like, happiness in you. But you've been faking all these videos anyway. Like, how tragic are you that you can't even present the actual you? You slip a little here and there on your live streams, and I've seen the clips, but you really don't maintain. So somebody else must be doing it for you.
Like, I feel like I can breathe again. I feel like I have reached the surface of the water and I am no longer drowning. Like, I hate when I reach lows like that because it reflects in all of my life, and I try very hard to put on a smile and to still be positive and happy, and sometimes it's hard. It's a scary feeling, but I feel a lot better and I'm just very happy about that.
Let me guess, you finally vanquished the cellulitis, which means Amber's the champion of cellulitis. Oh my god!
So I decided in the middle of last week that I will no longer be doing daily weigh-ins because they were messing with my head. I also decided that I will no longer be counting calories.
Okay, so Noom's out the window, but she'll probably claim she's still using it. By the way, counting calories, easiest thing in the world. You don't actually have to write it down. I count calories. That's how I know I can eat X number a day more than what you normally could without having too many issues because of my offset, for the courtesy of going for long walks and of course going to the gym. I'm active enough that I can get away with it. You're not. You don't even do the base minimum to justify the standard 2200. You don't do anything. You could literally go to sleep throughout the entire winter and you'd still come out over 400. Bears shed more than... No one's surprised you'd quit both because you can't commit to anything. And you'll undoubtedly insert another journey, the GL whatever run thing, cheat code nonsense here as your next adventure. You'll quit that and then you do another one and another one and another one. The repeat on this, by the way, is beyond embarrassing. You keep thinking you know what's best for you, but since you fail everything, every time, clearly you don't.
I will strictly be focusing on weighing myself once a week while working on my relationship with food. Instead of treating food like it's the problem, the reality is that I'm the problem.
Now that I'm going to put this deadpan look on the screen for a minute, I want to highlight something. Amber is the problem, 100%. But once she switches to doing it once a week, I can guarantee her weight will go up. It does every single time. It always does. It's never failed, in fact. Amber might have one good week to start and then immediately fail and just blow right up again, then she'll quit that and go back to daily. She'll say it messes with her head. No, it doesn't. It messes with what you're allowed to take in. That's not your head. Your head doesn't have a stomach in. Your torso does. Your head, though, has a problem and requires a lobotomy, because its poor decision making is the problem as well. There are many facets that need to be taken into consideration here, but you won't sign up for change because it means actually putting effort in. You should go to that fat camp. I can't wait if you do, by the way, the funniest. You'll be the first person to quit after one day and just rage quit and get your mum to come collect you.
Nothing I do regarding losing weight will ever be successful.
I'm going to admit I cheekily cut out a bit after this because it seems redundant, because this quote on its own is all you need.
Losing weight is extremely important. That is how I'm going to save my life. But the only way I can lose weight is, like I said, working on that relationship with food.
I can hereby tell you that's not necessarily true. You see, it is possible to improve your relationship with food by simply reducing your calories, checking your macros, making sure you don't exceed things you like to take advantage of, like salt, fat, carbs, and sugar, lots of sugar. Instead, you could also, on top of that, you could consider going to the gym, going for a walk, being more active, basically, physically active. You're not looking to build muscle here, although I've no doubt in my mind you'd think you were. Walking doesn't build muscle, so you can do that. Lifting some simple weights at the gym with the help of a personal trainer would be great. These are very simple things you can do that cost less money than Ozempic. Yet you'd rather do that because easy way out, Lynn Reed. Amber, that's your name, Amber. This is what you are. You are a failed cheat code. You're basically, in the weight loss journey side of things, you are the dark side Phil of weight loss. He's rubbish at games, you're rubbish at losing weight. You two are the same, but in two different wings of the internet.
So that is going to be my main focus. I'm still going to continue the weigh-ins for you guys every single week, but by working on the relationship, the symptom, which has been the weight gain, that is going to improve, which will then be weight loss. And by working on my relationship with food, I want to use a tool like GLP-1, but on the side, I want to take all the tools that I've ever learned from having a dietitian and outpatient, and taking those tools and realizing that food is fuel. You have to eat to live, not live to eat.
Speak all the quaint little slogans you want to speak, and think you've collected information in your journals while journaling, Reality is you're going to fail this as well. Why? Because you're Amber. Amber is a failure. You will never succeed at anything because, again, you don't look to solve the problem. You simply want to, in your most monotone, dead-eyed look, say you know what the problem is and do nothing meaningful to change it. Honestly, if you actually hooked up with some people who knew what they were doing, you'd stand a better chance. But you'd rather surround yourself with the other skanks you like to fraternize with, fabricate drama by not providing any proof of anything you say, and then speak down to your audience when they call you out on your nonsense.
Anyways, I feel like I could talk about this for like 9 million years, so let's move on to the weigh-in. Last week I was 514.2, and this week I was 516.2.
Shocker. You've put on weight because you don't know how to keep your weight down. I lost more weight than you in a week, and I'm not even trying to lose weight. Fam.
In the middle of the week, I did get down to 513, so I'm noticing I am just fluctuating right now, and I am not going to beat myself up for it.
You have T-Rex arms, of course you're not. Anyway, as we're done here, I'd love to know what you all think. Please do let me know in the comments down below. I will be streaming some ships at sea on Twitch tonight. Hope to see you there. If not, have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for listening. Ta-ta, everyone.